Hello and welcome viewers, you're watching In Depth with your host Shruti Mishra. The vice presidential elections slated for September 9th will see a contest between candidates of the ruling NDA and the opposition. NDA announced Maharashtra Governor C.P. Radhakrishnan as their vice presidential candidate, while the opposition named former Supreme Court Judge B. Sudarshan Reddy.
The National Democratic Alliance's vice presidential candidate, C.P. Radhakrishnan, filed his nomination in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Ministers in a massive show of strength and unity ahead of the September 9th election. Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Health Minister and BJP President J.P. Nadda and Union Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari were among those who accompanied him. C.P. Radhakrishnan is also the Maharashtra Governor. Earlier, he visited and paid tributes at Prerna Sthal, which houses statues of iconic personalities in Parliament Complex. He first bowed before the giant statue of Mahatma Gandhi and then proceeded to pay tributes to other noted personalities. With more than 4 decades experience, Radhakrishnan is a respected name in polity and in public life of Tamil Nadu. Born on May 4, 1957, in Tirupur in Tamil Nadu, C.P. Radhakrishnan earned a bachelor's degree in business administration. Starting as an RSS Swayamsevak, he became a state executive committee member of the Bharatiya Janasangh in 1974. In 1996, C.P. Radhakrishnan was appointed as the secretary of the BJP in Tamil Nadu. He was elected to the Lok Sabha for the first time from Coimbatore in 1998. He was re-elected to Lok Sabha in 1999. During his tenure as an MP, he served as chairman of the Parliamentary Standing Committee for Textiles. He was also a member of the Parliamentary Committee for Public Sector Undertakings and the Consultative Committee for Finance. He was a member of the Parliamentary Special Committee investigating the stock exchange scam. In 2004, C.P. Radhakrishnan addressed the UN General Assembly as part of the parliamentary delegation. He was also a member of the first parliamentary delegation to Taiwan. Between 2004 to 2007, he served as the state president of BJP in Tamil Nadu. In this role, he undertook a 19,000-kilometer Rath Yatra that lasted for 93 days. The yatra was organized to highlight his demands for linking of all Indian rivers, eradicating terrorism, implementing a uniform civil code, removing untouchability and combating the menace of narcotic drugs. He also led 2 more Padyatras for different causes. In 2016, he was appointed as the chairman of the Cohort Board Kochi, a position he held for 4 years. Under his leadership, Cohort exports from India reached an all-time high of 2,532 crore. From 2020 to 2022, he was All India in charge of BJP for Kerala. On February 18, 2023, he was appointed as Governor of Jharkhand. Within his first 4 months, he travelled to all the 24 districts of Jharkhand, interacting with citizens and district officials. An avid sports person, he was a college champion in table tennis and long-distance runner. He also enjoyed cricket and volleyball. Widely travelled, he has visited the US, UK, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Belgium, Turkey, China, Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, Thailand, Egypt, UAE, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Japan. Meanwhile, the joint opposition's vice presidential nominee and former Supreme Court Judge, Justice retired B. Sudarshan Reddy, filed his nomination papers for the elections on 21st of August 2025. Justice B. Sudarshan Reddy was born on July 8, 1946. He was enrolled as advocate at Hyderabad with the Bar Council of Andhra Pradesh on December 27, 1971. He has practiced in writ and civil matters in High Court of Andhra Pradesh. He worked as government pleader in the High Court during 1988 to 1990. He also worked as additional standing counsel for central government for a period of 6 months during 1990. He worked as legal advisor and standing counsel for Osmania University. He was also appointed as a permanent judge of the Andhra Pradesh High Court on May 2, 1995. He was later appointed as Chief Justice of Guwahati High Court. Later, he was appointed as Judge of Supreme Court of India. He retired in 2011.
The post of Vice President was taken from the American Constitution. However, his powers are not similar to his American counterpart. But what about the election of Vice President of India? Well, we have broken down the process of electing the Vice President of India in simple terms for our viewers. Who can vote, the voting procedure and other mechanisms involved. Take a look at this detailed analysis.
Article 63 of Constitution of India provides that there shall be a Vice President of India. Article 64 and 89(1) provide that the Vice President of India shall be ex officio chairman of the Council of States, that is the Rajya Sabha, and shall not hold any other office of profit. In the constitutional setup, the holder of the office of Vice President is part of the executive, but as chairman of Rajya Sabha, he or she is a part of Parliament. He thus has a dual capacity and holds two distinct and separate offices. The office of the Vice President is one of the unique features of the Constitution of India. It has no exact parallel in the countries of other democratic constitutions of the world. There is no such office in other parliamentary systems of governments in Commonwealth countries or in Ireland. The only constitution among the important democracies of the world which provides for such an office is that of the United States of America. But the office of the Vice President of India, though analogous to, but it is not identical with that of Vice President in the United States of America, for the obvious reason that it has a presidential system of government and not a parliamentary one as in India. And yet the constitution makers of India, while basically following the British parliamentary system, decided to opt for the American system and provided that, like the Vice President in the USA, the Vice President of India will preside over the upper house and act as President in certain contingencies. Thus, the Vice President of India has been clothed with a dual capacity as the second head of the executive and as the presiding officer of the upper house of Parliament. This naturally casts an enormous burden of responsibility on the holder of this office. He has to keep the responsibilities of the two offices distinct and separate. The chairman cannot allow his mind to be influenced by the knowledge acquired in his capacity as the Vice President. While performing his duties as Vice President, he cannot do anything which may impair his obligation as chairman. It is remarkable that in India, the holders of this high office as Vice President have functioned within this fusion of roles and have received admiration and appreciation of the nation as a whole. They have occupied the chair of the Rajya Sabha with singular distinction and have performed their functions with grace and dignity during all these years. Room number F101, Vasudha, first floor, Parliament House, New Delhi, has been fixed as the place of polling for the vice presidential election. As per Article 66 of the Constitution of India, the Vice President is elected by the members of the Electoral College, consisting of members of both Houses of Parliament in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote. For 2025, that is the 17th Vice Presidential election, the Electoral College will consist of 233 elected members of Rajya Sabha, as presently 5 seats are vacant, 12 nominated members of the Rajya Sabha and 543 elected members of Lok Sabha. Presently, 1 seat is vacant. For marking the vote, the Commission will supply particular pens. The pen will be given to the electors in the polling station by the designated official when the ballot paper is handed over. Electors have to mark the ballot only with this particular pen and not with any other pen. Voting by using any other pen shall lead to invalidation of the vote at the time of counting. Under the law, nomination can be filed either by the candidate himself or by any of his proposers or seconders between 11 am to 3 pm. Nomination cannot be filed on public holidays. A nomination paper of a candidate has to be subscribed by at least 20 electors as proposers and by at least other 20 electors as seconders. No elector shall subscribe more than one nomination paper at the same election as either a proposer or a seconder, and is governed by Section 5B, 5 of the Presidential and Vice Presidential Elections Act of 1952. A candidate can file a maximum of 4 nomination papers. The security deposit for the election is 15,000 rupees, which is required to be made along with the nomination paper, or should be deposited in Reserve Bank of India or a government treasury under the relevant head of accounts for the purpose prior to filing of nomination. Each contesting candidate can authorize a representative to be present at the place of polling and at the place fixed for counting. Authorization of representatives for this purpose shall be made by the candidate in writing at appropriate time. Political parties cannot issue any whip to their MPs in the matter of voting in the vice presidential election. As per Section 18 of the Presidential and Vice Presidential Elections Act 1952, the offence of bribery or undue influence, as defined in Sections 170 or 171 of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, by returned candidate or any other person with the consent of the returned candidate, are among the grounds on which the election can be declared void by Supreme Court in an election petition. The election to the office of Vice President of India, being an indirect election, does not involve election campaigning in the conventional manner of displaying banners or posters. Still, the Commission, in view of importance of this election, has directed the returning officer concerned to ensure use of eco-friendly and biodegradable material and eliminate the use of prohibited plastic or materials as per extant instructions of Government of India.
Well, viewers, that's all we had for you in this edition. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Sunset TV. Goodbye for now from my side.
To watch more programs of Sunset TV, subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to like and share them.